recall, but then I heard that Lila Rose endorsed you, and that to me is why I'm going to turn out to vote. So I really appreciate all these
I got attacked yesterday. She endorsed me by the left, of course. And I'm serious when I said, they ask me about abortion all the time. I said, you ever ask Gavin Newsom, at what point is too long? How about 8 months, 3 weeks, and 2 days? How about that?
Oh my God. This motherfucker runs around claiming he's a libertarian, and now he's pulling out the fucking anti-abortion stops. I thought he did not wanna. I thought he was not anti-abortion. Okay. How can Larry Elder have the most support in California? I thought it's a blue state. Sorry, I'm EU. Hey, blue state doesn't mean anything. There's 4 million Republican voters, man. There are more than 4 million Republican voters in this fucking state. And at the very least, there is like 4 million fucking Republicans here. Okay, let's blast this off. We'll talk about the history of the recall and everything else.
Counting down the days because this election could affect all Californians, of course. The polls will open at 7 a.m. on Tuesday, September 14th, again a week from today. ABC 7 News anchor Liz Kreutz is here with us. Liz, what's the strategy going into the final week of campaigning? I know all the candidates are very busy.
They really are, Dan. The candidates are all making their final push to get out the vote across the state this week. But with only 1 week to go, this race has become almost entirely now about two people, Governor Newsom and conservative talk show host Larry Elder.
Governor Gavin Newsom campaigned in San Francisco's Mission District today and urged his supporters to vote no on the recall election.
It's been implied, but let me be explicit. Either we vote no on this recall, or in a matter of weeks, the next governor of the state of California is Larry Elder.
The event was geared specifically towards Latino voters who so far have been slow to turn in their mail-in ballots. Newsom warned a Republican governor opposed to mask and vaccine mandates would be a setback for the Latino community.
No community would be more disproportionately impacted from a public health prison than the Latino community.
It's good to be back here. Nadi Ramirez is a restaurant owner and longtime supporter of Governor Newsom's, who was there phone banking in Spanish.
I like him as a person and I like his policies. I think he's done whatever any human being could have done during this pandemic.
Meantime, just hours away in the Central Valley, GOP frontrunner Larry Elder campaigned with voters who feel differently.
We have to say thank you, Governor Gavin Newsom, for the highest honor taxes we have in California.
Crime is going up. The quality of education is going down. Cost of living is going up. Homelessness is going up.
With only 7 days left in the recall election, candidates are ramping up their get out the vote efforts. Vice President Kamala Harris will campaign with Newsom tomorrow in the Bay Area. President Biden is expected next week. Newsom said he hopes these appearances will energize Democratic voters.
Yeah, I love this because it's like Larry Elder's like, crime is going up. Homelessness is going up. Prices and the cost of living is going up. And I intend to make it so much worse. Okay? Like, oh, you like this? You like the situation in California? Because, you know, people like to falsely claim it's California when it's literally just a neoliberal paradise where our leadership is operating at the behest of the big industries that work here. Well, vote for me and I'll make it significantly worse. You know, $0 minimum wage, baby.
I think it's a big deal to have the Vice President of the United States, who happens to be from the Bay Area, happens to be our own Californian here supporting this effort.
Asked about these visits, Elder said he doesn't think it will make any.
I don't understand how California Democrats got so weak quickly. I thought it was a Democrat stronghold. First of all, California used to be the reddest of red states. Like, the fuck do you mean? Richard Nixon and Ronald Reagan are from California. Okay, so that's one. Number two. Okay, so that was number one. Ronald Reagan and Richard Nixon is literally a California natives. Okay, and two, the thing that changed in California was the Latino population that like started changing the demographics and also changed the attitudes towards Democrats. And California is still a Democratic stronghold. Even when Arnold Schwarzenegger was the governor, it was still a Democratic stronghold. It just had a red governor, right? And Schwarzenegger actually became governor under similar conditions. Now, Arnold Schwarzenegger is a little bit different than Larry Elder in the way that, like, he operated. He was more of a moderate Republican. He wasn't like, he was the same as like a Democrat pretty much. Because California, with notable exceptions, is a liberal stronghold. That does not necessarily mean that these people are very progressive. That just means that they're very liberal. So they still institute the exact same kind of policies that neoliberals and big business would want to institute in the state. There's a reason why we have measures that get absolutely yeeted. There's a reason why Prop 22 was tested and succeeded here in California. So, oh yeah, I saw this. We'll talk about this in a second too. This is a funny ass story. Yeah, California has never been like a permanently blue. It's only been permanently blue as recently as like, you know, these past couple of elections. It's reliably blue now, and it's still reliably blue, but blue states oftentimes have red governors. That's not like a confusing proposition. The only reason why California could potentially have a red governor in this circumstance is because of the conditions of the recall. What I mean by that, what I mean when I say the conditions of the recall, is that recall elections are special elections, so they don't get the same level of involvement from people. And obviously, the side that, you know, has most to gain, stands most to gain from a recall, is going to be hyping this up, is going to be beefing this shit up. And that side, of course, is the Republican side. Says Dems are responsible for the homelessness crisis because they are beholden to business and wealthy homeowners. They've made it impossible to build high/medium density housing for normal people. I think there is some truth to that, but that's not the end-all be-all of the homelessness crisis. There definitely is a problem with that, except Larry Elder also is going to continue that. If you think that Larry Elder is going to allow like affordable housing units to be built in the state of California, you are out of your fucking mind. Don't be silly. This is all a meme to me. I don't live in Cali, but I think Meet Kevin would be better than... Okay, you guys are fucking idiots. Okay? I'm sorry. You love internet content creators that are involved in politics. So because of that, you automatically find yourself liking other internet content creator fucking people that are running for office without examining their fucking positions. The only thing I've heard about this fucking YouTuber guy is that he's a real estate investor, okay, and that he has insane ideas about like homelessness. Like he's absolutely on board with criminalizing homelessness. But you fucking dumbass simps immediately laser focus on that, just like you do with Andrew Yang, because he occupies the same fucking spaces that you occupy. Oh man, he's just like me. Zoomers and millennials that spend all of their waking moment on the internet, every waking moment on the internet, are just as likely to vote for other fucking dumbasses that they could have a beer with as your older boomer racist grandfather and your older boomer racist father before him that said, I'd like to vote for a guy that I can have a beer with. That's why I voted for GW. This is your version of that, okay? This is literally your fucking dumbass version of that. If you see like a YouTuber and you go, well, this guy seems to speak to my problems without examining their actual fucking positions and, you know, looking at their like actual qualifications while their literal background is like a real estate investor, okay? You're doing the exact same thing that they're doing. How do you respond to the critics who say you're running a non-serious campaign geared primarily towards boosting your YouTube channel? Damn, he got downvoted. Let's unpackage this. I ran in my channel as in the middle commentator and educator picking a party, and we knew this was likely to happen. It hurts my channel's growth. Okay, that's a lie. I got involved in politics only after the recall was decided, so I don't view myself as really taking part in the cost of a recall election. I'm just providing Californians an option in what over 1.7 million Californians voted for. Don't get me wrong. It's a lot of money, I get it, but it's one of those don't hate the player, hate the game, in my opinion. I mean, this dude couldn't even get his way out of a fucking Reddit AMA, dude. That's crazy. I want to know what his campaign website looks like. Now that now you got me invested in this fucking guy. He's a fraud. He gets all his money from YouTube and pretends to be a financial expert. Look at the awarded comment under the downvoted post we just looked at. The kind of guy who says age is just the number when trying to justify a relationship with a teenage girl. Jesus Christ. I'm legitimately scared of the recall results. As a woman in business, Larry Elder legitimately scares me. Okay, let me just say something here. Okay? Larry Elder is a demon. But if you think that he's going to be able to do like, if you think Larry Elder is going to be like, I don't know, making it illegal for women to own business or some shit, like, don't be crazy. Okay? That doesn't mean he's good. He's a fucking demon, and he's significantly worse than Gavin Newsom, who's already pretty fucking bad to begin with. Step 1, end homelessness with executive action. Step 2, what does that mean? Like, what the fuck does that mean? Pass a year 1, early mid-2020, massive infrastructure bill with a Democratic supermajority of Republicans to support ending the cause of homelessness and the blight in California, new and better schools, fire prevention, new water infrastructure, streamlining housing. All this sounds great. Let's take a look at like, let's do a little bit deeper dive on the fucking full plan below. End COVID, proper masking, filtration, ventilation, and vaccinations. Bring hyper transparency to the government with social media, daily YouTube videos. What? Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Appoint a Democratic senator if necessary. What does that mean? I guess he means like if Dianne Feinstein dies. False claim. The governor claims we have a $75.7 billion surplus. Our governor counts $37.7 billion of federal funding set for schools as a part of the surplus. Therefore, the state surplus is barely half of what's stated by Newsom. Okay. First of all, that's still incredible, dude. What the fuck kind of take is that? By the way, the only reason why we have that surplus right now, for the record, and this like goes against what every Republican idiot has been stating non-fucking stop, which is like, higher taxes are leading the wealthy to leave the state. And with the exception of like Ben Shabibo and Joe Rogan and Elon Musk, like, no, wealthy people are not leaving the fucking state of California. Guess what? A lot of that fucking surplus came from motherfuckers that made a lot of money even during the fucking pandemic, and of course are staying in California. The real people that leave the state of California, if you look at the actual numbers, are not the wealthy people that are leaving because of taxes. They're actually middle class people and poor people that can't pay the fucking increased cost of living. They can't pay the price of housing. Okay? Those are the people that are actually leaving California because they can't buy anything. They literally can't buy anything in the state. They can't rent. So they leave. Okay? A thing that we're not talking about here that I find really scary is like almost an inevitability at this point, which is Dianne fucking Fossil Feinstein. Okay? She's literally 700 years old. She's the oldest or the second oldest congressperson. The oldest, person in America, pretty much. She's like 700 years old. Okay? She's fossilizing literally on the spot. Her own aides have leaked that, she's not all there. Okay? What if she fucking dies? What are we gonna do? Are we gonna prop her up with a fucking stick when she's dead and like trot her around like she's still alive? What if she dies and Larry Elder is the fucking what if she dies and Larry Elder is the governor, dude? Now, in the state of California, there are I think there are like special elections in the Senate. Every state has a different method of doing things. But a governor has incredible, awesome amounts of power over its own state. So even if you have like, even if the governor can't directly appoint the senator, okay, at least until like a fucking a special election is happening, and I think in California you can, yeah, I think you can appoint, the governor can appoint in the state of California. Hold on, let me just check. Let me just make sure that I'm not giving you false information. I mean, yeah, Governor Newsom literally appointed Alex Padilla to the U.S. Senate. Yeah, of course. What the fuck am I talking about? So yeah, Governor Newsom literally appointed the Kamala Harris replacement, Alex Padilla, to the U.S. Senate. So yeah, the governor in the state of California. What I was thinking of was Vermont. I was getting it confused with Vermont because, like, in Vermont, I think the governor in the past had said that like they would hold an election because the governor of Vermont is actually very he's like very open-minded towards he recognizes the demands of the Democrat. Vermont and Cali are easily confused. No, the reason why I'm saying that is because every state has different rules about appointments, like Senate appointments, to fulfill vacancies. And I remember researching Vermont, thinking about it where what would happen if Bernie Sanders got a position? Like, would the Democrats lose their very narrow majority, the 50-50 majority with the Kamala Harris vote in the Senate, if Bernie Sanders was appointed to a position in the cabinet? Anyway, fact 8. The top leading candidate versus Governor Newsom is Kevin Pathrath, a moderate Democrat with real solutions. Governor Newsom claims he's led the... Wait, what? But that's not true, dude. What the fuck? The leading Democratic candidate, maybe. There is not a single poll that shows this motherfucker... Yes, there is. They showed him... Democrat Kevin Pathrath, a YouTuber real estate broker, is currently leading the pack with 27%. What is this fucking poll, man? Who? Where did they find this fucking poll? Okay, let's look at what friend of the show Alex did with Kevin.
A reminder that the recall election in California is September 14th, although this is the last week where candidates can declare for the race.
Yeah, look at all these fucking crypto bro losers, man. Like, this literally, look, this has the exact same vibes. I'm sorry, but this has the exact same fucking vibes as like one of those, you should buy a timeshare. You know, you should buy a timeshare ass fucking one of those like meetings that you like purchase. You know what I mean?
Thank you very much. He is a 29-year-old Democrat challenging Governor Newsom in the recall election. Meet Kevin Pathrath. He's a Southern California real estate investor who is followed by millions on YouTube, other social media platforms as well. He's just completed 9 rallies in 10 days across the state, including that one. And now the campaign brings him here to our studio, our first in-studio guest in a long time. Kevin Pathrath, welcome. Nice to have you here.
Alex, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited for common sense solutions. I know you mentioned that I'm a Democrat. That is true, but I bring common sense back to California. I'm tired of identity politics.
Oh my God. I want to fucking die, dude. That's it. I should just end the broadcast and fucking just stop everything. Oh my God, dude. Oh, fuck me, dude. Oh my fucking God. We were crippling, like we were slowly crawling towards our inevitable demise. Watching the first 55 seconds of this made me recognize that like that crawling pace has upgraded to a sprint. Okay, we are gonna have like Ice Poseidon run for fucking governor and win.
Let's solve it.
I feel like I should be waiting for a Zoom delay, but I don't have to do that anymore, so I don't know what that's like. All right, so for a lot of folks that know you in social media, you're a big star. There's a lot of folks that are watching this that probably have not heard of you before. So
I'm a Dem, but I hate Gavin, and I think he deserves to be recalled. No, no, okay, no, sorry. Like, I despise Gavin Newsom. I despise his fucking style of politics, but it is psychotic. Literally all of my fucking friends that are in DSA LA are unironically phone banking to make sure that people vote no for the fucking recall, dude. It is insane. You can't just say, oh, someone deserves to be recalled without an alternative, okay? Without a viable alternative. There is no such viable alternative. That is completely insane, dude. And no, I'm not saying this because one of you guys made Gavin Newsom send me a happy birthday message, okay? Like, this is a viable candidate who is supposedly a Democrat. You think this guy's going to be better than Gavin Newsom? Let's watch what he has. What else he has to say. Tell us a little bit about your... I hate identity politics. Like, I fucking absolutely despise, okay? I despise fake Democrats who literally engage in like rad lib talking points in an effort to, you know, win over support, and it's all fucking fake and it's all bullshit. Okay? It's all fake, it's all transparent, it's all bullshit. They're just trying to win over votes and they're lying to you and blah blah blah. And Gavin Newsom absolutely does this kind of like aesthetic bullshit all the fucking time. This guy's doing that as well when he's like, I hate identity politics. He's just doing it for a different kind of audience. He's doing it for the dumbasses that watch on fucking YouTube, which is of course hilarious because like all those dumbasses, including you dumbasses in my chat and myself, we don't have a high percentage of like voters, so I don't think he's gonna win anything.
Your backstory. You came here 19 years old.
Absolutely. So I came to California, met my wife in Paris, moved to California, and California gave me some incredible opportunities. Unfortunately, I feel like I was the exception. I went to a community college, then went to UCLA, graduated with a background in economics and political science, became a real estate broker, and educated folks on how to invest in real estate. Unfortunately, I again feel like the exception. We got to make better education the norm.
And you became this big deal on YouTube, teaching people about real estate, teaching people about finance and other things, cryptocurrency, other things as well currently. And you are a Democrat running against Governor Newsom. Most of the high-profile Democrats are not. Why do you consider yourself a Democrat? And why, if you...
Yeah, I think... you know, we have a homelessness crisis here in California, just like the rest of the fucking country. And I think what we need is a common sense guy who's a fucking real estate broker. I think what we should do is just hand over the state to one of these fucking private equity firms that purchases like entire city blocks so that they can relegate the first-time homeowners into permanent or rental status, okay? Let's just give over California. Let's just take the keys of the city, okay? Take it out of the machine. I suspect that's how the gubernatorial system works, okay? Take it out, and you just hand it over to fucking BlackRock. Fuck it, dude. They'll fix it. Maybe perhaps I should start from the top, though. Like, what is a recall election? I feel like a lot of people don't know what this is. Let's see if there's a good video for this. Here.
This is how recalling the governor works in California. Voters who want to spark a recall vote must first get signatures. They need 12% of the total voter turnout from the last election. In California, anybody can start one of these campaigns, and truly for any reason.
We could basically recall the guy for anything. You know, I don't like your face recall is how I think about it.
The state gives
Okay, I can't trust this dude. He literally is unable to figure out a microphone.
160 days to gather all the signatures. If the petition hits that goal by the deadline, then counties have 30 business days to verify all the signatures and report it to the state.
Okay.
If the numbers check out, then there's a period of time where people can withdraw their signatures and some other preliminary paperwork required by the state. After all that, if the signatures still hold, then the recall is on. A date for the election is set by the lieutenant governor for some time within the next 60 to 80 days. On the ballot, there's two parts. First, voters are asked if they want to vote yes for a recall or no against a recall. If more than 50% of voters vote no, then the current governor remains. In the second part of the ballot, voters are asked to pick a replacement in the event the recall passes. If you remember,
I mean, I think this like describes it very well and very effectively. Some of you that are living in California currently, most of you, if not all of you, at this point have either gotten a sample ballot or your full-blown ballot. The ballot has two questions on it. One, do voters want a recall? Okay, and you're supposed to vote no. Do not vote yes on the recall. Please, I urge you, I beg you not to fucking vote yes on the recall, you dumb fucks. Okay, to the Californian chatters. Because if you vote yes, and the majority end up voting yes on a recall, it's over. Whoever is like the #1 candidate on the second page will end up becoming the governor. Okay? So they could technically, in a situation where there's like only, let's say, people were unaware, and let's say in this insane hypothetical that, you know, 7 million people voted yes for the recall. Okay, because they just didn't understand what was going on. And, you know, 6.9 million people voted no on the recall. But no one filled in the application on the second side. Someone could become governor with one vote, okay? Whoever has one fucking vote on the second side, whoever got like a write-in, they could be the fucking governor, okay? Because automatically Gavin Newsom is out. It is a recipe for disaster. Are you going to sell your house and move to another state if Larry Elder becomes governor? No, dude. I'm not going to fucking move out of California because California has a fucking red governor. Don't be silly. So you're saying you approve of Gavin Newsom and his tragic performance? I'm saying I approve of Gavin Newsom with respect to Larry fucking Elder. Yes, it is not even a question. Automatically, if you have been owned by me, a dumb fucking himbo who streams on Twitch all goddamn day, on a fucking Fox show, you should not be governor, okay? Automatic disqualification. I hope that hypothetical happened because I wrote Hassan Piker on my ballot. Oh my God.
Or no against a recall.
Even if you vote for anyone but Larry Elder on the second side, it's not going to happen. There isn't enough organized and collective action pumping up a singular candidate. And even then, it's literally you're adding a second layer of confusion and chaos into the process. You understand that, right? And the likelihood of defeating this dumbass Larry Elder is unfortunately very low.
More than 50% of voters vote no, then the current governor remains. In the second part of the ballot, voters are asked to pick a replacement in the event the recall.
You made it to my local news here in Humboldt. It was mentioned you rolled Larry Elder and you were a himbo, and how that proved Larry Elder was not good to vote for. I giggled. There's no shot that local news was like, Larry Elder is notable for being owned by a dumb himbo.
Recall passes. If you remember the Gray Davis recall in 2003, you'll know truly almost anybody can jump into the fray.
Schwarzenegger, we had Gary Coleman, we had Ariana Huffington, porn star, just it was all over the place.
Whoever gets the most votes of that group, even if it's not the majority, wins the race. At that point, the Secretary of State will certify the
election. Progressive in the small town, dude, but okay. Why would local news ever say the word himbo?
And the new governor would take the oath of office and assume the position within the next 28 days.
Okay. So that's the short and sweet of it. Here, I'll show you some quick numbers, okay? Here are the latest polls on the California recall election. Luckily, there has been more momentum from the Democratic Party that has finally fucking decided to take this shit seriously. And they started pumping more money into the recall candidate or the recall process, educating people because it's confusing. And now we're looking at 54% keep, 42% remove. Okay. Holy fucking shit, though. That is terrifying. This is a terrifying proposition, folks. Now, of course, because of that reason, now you have the Republicans that are already gearing up to say the recall election is rigged. They're going to claim that in a state where there are 7 million plus Democrats and 4 million plus Republican voters, that the elections are rigged, okay? Because everyone is secretly a Trump supporting Republican in this state. Everyone. So they're already this is good news, though. Why is this good news? Because they probably are seeing internal polling that shows that Larry Elder's probably not going to win and California is going to vote to keep. That's why they are basically gearing up for what comes next. You know, starting their messaging campaign for what comes next. Okay? The craziest conservatives I know thought California was going red for the presidential election. Yes, we've talked about this a million times over. These guys are neither silent nor the majority. They are the can't shut the fuck up minority. But they claim to be the silent majority. They love to act like, you know, there's so many secret Republicans out there. It's not the truth. 4 million over 7 million, depending on the pluses, clearly rigged. Yeah. Speaking of Trump, he's going to do a 9/11 boxing show. I will definitely be watching that. Isn't this a dangerous fascist attitude? What, claiming that every election is rigged? Even ahead of time? Yes. But claiming that the elections are rigged ahead of time actually has a negative consequence on elections. In a lot of instances, it can have the capacity to depress voter turnout, so that's a cool thing. So there is that. If Trump gets reelected, would he be both the 45th and 47th president? I don't think so, right? Sorry for dumb question. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so here is Republicans now actively claiming that the election is already rigged ahead of time.
It's actually happening as we speak. The polls appear to show Newsom looks safer at this point. Larry Elder is the man that could take it from him. What do you think happens in California?
Well, it's probably rigged. They're sending out all ballots. It's all the ballots are, you know, mail-in ballots. In fact, I guess you even have a case where you can make your own ballot. When that happens, nobody's going to win except these Democrats. So, you know, look, they're very good. The one thing they're good at is rigging elections. So I predict it's a rigged election. Let's see how it turns out.
We've got the recall election coming up in less than a week.
Yeah, so he's already claiming that it's fucking rigged, right? Ahead of time.
We were hearing creaks.
Oh, he's claiming, he also claims that he was down there on 9/11, but you know, we'll get to that in a little bit. That's like unrelated to the conversation right now. We'll talk about Trump in a second. But going back to the recall and going back, now that you know how the recall works, and now that you've seen you know, what the polling looks like, looking good, you should still fucking go out and vote. Please vote to keep, not kick. Otherwise, Larry Elder is going to be the governor. Dianne Feinstein is going to die in office, and then Larry Elder is going to elect a fucking psychopathic Republican to that Senate seat, to that vacant Senate seat. And guess what? Now it's 49 to now it's you know, 49 to 51. It's over. Democrats no longer have even that slim, like Kamala Harris majority. These are the worst possible outcomes that could happen. And guess what? The worst thing that could happen will always happen in America, okay? So don't fuck this up. Just vote to fucking keep, not kick. Vote to keep, not kick, okay? Please. If progressives vote the recall, it will just pull the Dem party to the right in the end anyways. Wait, what? No. It doesn't even fucking matter what progressives do, okay? And every progressive I know that works in the DSA is literally fucking... is literally working round the clock to ensure that the recall does not go through. What? Hey, so can we watch the interview and have you shut the fuck up for more than 5 seconds? Nah, I thought not. Hasanabi. I am literally a Twitch streamer, and you're fucking crying that I'm not watching another YouTuber demonstrate their narcissism as they go and try to win an election. I'm educating people on a fucking recall election, something that many people have asked about, and you're fucking complaining that I can't watch some other narcissistic douchebag talk about how, you know, they should be the next governor because they have a YouTube channel and they're a fucking real estate broker, or they were originally like a real estate Andy. I hate this.
Consider yourself a Democrat? Are you running against the Democratic standard bearer?
Absolutely. So first of all, I'm running against Gavin Newsom because I believe that it's his leadership and his policies that have broken the state. It's not the party. It's not the people. It's not Republicans. We have Californian issues in the state: traffic, crime, homelessness, lawlessness. Consider just this. Gavin Newsom said he was going to prevent forest fires. He overstated his efforts by 690%. NPR exposed him on that. We have 80% of cannabis sales in the state 5 years after cannabis is legalized. 80% is done illegally. We are going $12 billion into more debt. We don't have a surplus in California. We're going into more debt. SB 7 is a great way to funnel more money through Governor Newsom's office, not making housing more efficient.
Oh, no, not the traffic. Are you insane, dude? That's a huge issue. Are you stupid? That's actually one of the smartest things he's brought up. It's California, dude. Traffic is a gigantic problem. It's so much of a problem that, like, the governor mentioning it is actually like, the governor mentioning traffic is like incredibly solid as far as talking points goes. The issue is like his answer to the traffic problem is probably, you know, bust out the fucking highways, destroy some more like affordable fucking housing that is like on the side of the highways, and make the highways even larger. Okay. And that is proven to not work, right? Instead of beefing up public transit.
That's what's broken.
Well, we do have a surplus in this state. I mean, that's why they're giving all this money back, right?
That's my point, is after he's giving money away for giving traffic tickets, we're going $12 billion more into debt. So we don't have the surplus to solve the real problems that we have, like our water crisis, which we could have solved with that surplus. We could have used that money, built an aqueduct to Mississippi, gotten fresh, clean water, cheaper than we have it now, and we could have ended our water crisis so our farms in the San Joaquin Valley, where I just was, wouldn't be brown and drying out anymore.
A part of the challenge, though, is by legislature, by statute, they do have to give some of the money back when you get a surplus that's big enough. But let's talk about homelessness, which is your number one issue, the number one issue for so many people on the states. Your governor tomorrow, what's different on homelessness?
Day one, I'm signing 4 executive actions. Number 1 is ending homelessness on our streets within 60 days. We're not going to cure homelessness in 60 days.
How are we going to pull an aqueduct to Mississippi, dude? Wait, did I mishear that? Is he just saying shit like I don't understand? He's gonna build a pipe to Mississippi? How's he gonna, what's he gonna do? Is he gonna fucking, he's like, I'm gonna take the homeless people and make them carry the water personally. Like, I'm gonna enslave all the homeless people and make them carry the water in little buckets all the way from Mississippi to California and dump it in the LA River. Just a big line of buckets. Problem solved, dude. Modern problems require modern solutions, like slavery.
60 days, but nobody will be living on our streets anymore because they're not living on our streets, they're dying on our streets. After 60 days, no more homeless on our streets. How do we solve that?
It's called the Infinity Gauntlet, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all of the Infinity Stones. I'm going to gather them. Now, I've already started this process. It's a very difficult one. It's going to be very violent. There might be a sacrifice that I need to make to get one of those Infinity Gauntlets. But once I acquire the Infinity Gauntlet, I will be able to defeat the Avengers and do what is known as a Thanos snap, famously trademarked by Marvel. And once I Thanos snap all of the homeless out of existence, there you go. Problem solved. Okay?
80 emergency facilities throughout the state of California, each housing about 2,000 homeless individuals. Now we can centralize support, mental health support, detox support, substance abuse support. We can finally provide food and...
How would you approach fixing the homelessness crisis? Through a housing first policy where I would take the successful measures that some of the local council members have led here in California and implement it across the fucking state. Go up to these massive camps and with a bunch of social workers and start fucking discussing relocation and permanent shelter for a lot of the homeless people that live in these massive encampments. A big part of the problem is, like, they don't want to go to a fucking shelter. Shelters are dangerous. Shelters also make you quit cold turkey. Shelters can also sell a bunch of fucking drugs that make you get back into your drug habit if you've already quit. If you're homeless, which is less likely, but still, a lot of people don't want to go to shelters also because they have a bunch of fucking items that they don't want to leave behind. They don't want to leave their fucking pets behind. So having a group of social workers address all of these demands that homeless people have and treat them like human beings as they work to relocate homeless people into permanent shelter has always been a viable and successful anti-homelessness measure. What people normally do, on the other hand, is unfortunately treat homeless people as though they are not real human beings and just push them further and further away from the city outskirts and try to make it someone else's problem. Meanwhile, they also don't address the cause of homelessness, which is the housing market. Has it ever worked? Nah, dude. Actually, it's where has this worked? I mean, it's even worked in certain parts of Los Angeles. I forget which one it was. Who was the councilwoman that we looked at before? Currently, our solution is out of sight, out of mind, okay? But as far as like where this has worked, there's plenty of examples all around the world. Finland, okay? Austria, even in certain places in fucking Canada. So there are certainly successful examples of this both within the United States of America and also successful examples of this all around the fucking world. But again, none of that still addresses the main causes for homelessness. The main causes for homelessness is not mental health problems. It's not substance abuse issues. It's not crime. It's not a lack of opportunity, even though those are significant problems. But the largest issue is still the unaffordability of housing, okay? You get priced out of the market. And then those secondary problems that arise or that you may already have manifest itself in really meaningful ways, spiraling you down into a permanent fucking situation where you can't ever get out of the homelessness issue that you are experiencing. He also attributed his late political awakening to his recent financial success and his higher tax bill. This dude just doesn't want to pay higher taxes. Anyway.
Something Californians don't have right now, and that's why people are leaving the state. We've got to stop Californians from leaving the state. I want to grow this economy.
But How do you do that? So say a homeless person, and they're trying to remove them from the streets in Venice right now, and we talked to many of them today, and they said, I don't want to go.
Absolutely.
What do you do in that scenario?
Yeah, so here's the thing. Nobody trusts the government right now because the government has fragmented policy responses. We're going to take our first 30 days, provide service to homeless individuals where they are, knowing that community leaders control homelessness. When we build our emergency facilities with homeless leaders, mayors of blocks and presidents of streets, then we can convince 90 to 95% of our homeless population, we believe, to come to emergency facilities. These are not lockdown facilities. They're optional. They want to take a bagel and leave, that's fine. But guess what? After 60 days of my governorship, nobody sleeps on the floor or streets of California anymore. That ends in 60 days.
But you don't think that there are community leaders working on that problem now?
There are, but here's what's happening. You've got people in LA handing out cell phones to homeless folks. You've got people in San Francisco. The city of San Francisco is spending $5,000 per tent per homeless person. That's 60 grand a year. We have fragmented responses. There's a reason the mayor of LA and the sheriff of LA tweet storm each other because they can't even figure it out. You need a real leader. And it's the same thing with our schools. We're ranked 40th. It's the same thing with our housing. We need a leader to solve our problem.
So what was his solution?
Of my governorship, nobody sleeps on the floor or streets of California anymore. That ends in 60 days.
But you don't think that there are community leaders working on that problem now?
There are, but here's what's happening. You've got people in LA.
His solution is what?
Percent of our homeless population, we believe, to come to emergency facilities. These are not lockdown facilities. They're optional. They want to take a bagel and leave, that's fine. But guess what? After 60 days...
No, what I said is different than this. He's talking about shelters, chat. Remember... No, communication isn't wrong. He's right. The solution does start with social workers like communicating to the homeless population that they can still bring some of their stuff, they can bring their pets, and they can inevitably work their way towards going sober and shit like that.
Because the government has fragmented policy responses. We're going to take our first 30 days, provide service to homeless individuals where they are, knowing that community leaders control homelessness. When we build our emergency facilities with homeless leaders, mayors of blocks and presidents of streets, then we can convince 90 to 95% of our homeless population, we believe, to come to emergency facilities. These are not...
He's not wrong about that, but his solution is emergency facilities, and that's fucking terrible. That's not going to happen. It's an unsuccessful method. Okay? Like, communication is key. It's key. Except the problem is where you're going to put the homeless people. And if your solution is still shelters, then it's not going to work. Okay? It's just simply not going to work. But he's a YouTube landlord, so obviously, like, I didn't have a lot of I did not feel like he was going to be a killer on this issue regardless.
Lockdown facilities, they're optional. They want to take a bagel and leave, that's fine. But guess what? After 60 days of my governorship, nobody sleeps on the floor or streets of California anymore. That ends in 60 days.
Yeah, how do you enforce that? Through cops. You enforce that through criminalizing homelessness further. That's a horrible idea that causes people to fucking... Dude, there are two methods that you need to deal with and certain key points that you need to look for. When people talk about homeless shelters and temporary housing, emergency facilities, immediately those are red flags, okay? When you want to talk to homeless people, like, or when you talk about homeless people, communication is an actually positive fucking thing to hear, okay? Empathy first and housing first is a positive thing you need to hear. And also permanent shelter. Not homelessness, or not emergency shelter, not homeless shelters, but permanent shelter. The goal should always be permanent fucking shelter. Okay? Classic Hassan backtracking on his view. Shut the fuck up, bitch. Yeah, this is real. I know. We're going to talk about this in a little bit. I'm going to watch the fuck out of this. Anyway, let's keep going.
But you don't think that there are community leaders working on that problem now?
There are, but here's what's happening. You've got people in LA handing out cell phones to homeless folks. You've got people in San Francisco. The city of San Francisco is spending $5,000 per tent per homeless person.
Wait, why did he bring that up as a bad thing? Wait. Giving cell phones to homeless people is a bad thing? Okay, motherfucker, let me just say something, okay? If you're having a problem with a homeless person having a cell phone, you're going to definitely have a problem with them having shelter. Okay?
What's happening? You've got people in LA handing out cell phones to homeless folks. You've got people in San Francisco. The city of San Francisco is spending $5,000 per tent per homeless person. That's 60 grand a year. We have fragmented responses. There's a reason the mayor of LA and the sheriff of LA tweet storm each other because they can't even figure it out. You need a real leader. And it's the same thing with our schools. We're ranked 40th. It's the same thing with our housing. We need a leader to solve our problems.
Well, let's talk about schools and education. And you want to think about colleges in a different way.
Oh, yeah. Well, so I want to think about really high school and college in a different way. I want to combine 70% over time. We'll start smaller. But I want folks at 18 to be able to graduate debt-free with a financial education. Imagine that, a financial education, knowing how to build wealth, and a career by 18. We do that by combining vocational schools, college.
Oh, no. This homie is like full-blown in the fucking... Oh, no, dude. Oh, Jesus Christ. We got another... I feel like he's gonna hit us with a charter school guy.
And high schools, at least a certain percentage of them throughout California. Then, what about the people over 18 in poverty who can barely get by on minimum wage? We are going to offer $2,000 per month for folks to go to these future schools. These future schools will help us reduce poverty and then effectively reduce crime. We're spending more money on people in jails than if we just educated and invested in our Californians. We wouldn't have as much crime or poverty. People are hopeless on our streets. We have to fix that.
So how, if you become governor, you're 29 years old, you've never served in the legislature before, you've never been a part of the political system, you'd have less than a year to be the governor, assuming that goes through. How do you make all this happen, and how...
Guys, if I say it's future schools, it's different than a charter school that will, like, and has actually successfully eradicated the already crippled budgets of the public school system here. That is the most viable way of educating kids, offering them shelter throughout the day, being a functional daycare for children, and most importantly, on top of the education, on top of the social cohesion and whatnot, offer kids their only, or rather most nutritious, which is really unfortunate, most nutritious meal that they will have for some kids, for hundreds of thousands of kids that currently are experiencing the consequences of living in a food desert or are insecure with their access to food.
What do you say to people that might be skeptical that you've got the skills to pull this off in terms of that very complicated bureaucracy in Sacramento?
Yeah. So the first thing that we have to realize is, yes, there's only a one-year term ahead. That's wonderful. All politicians should have a one-year trial. Now, the first thing that we're going to do when we solve homelessness or get homeless off our streets within 60 days and we start solving the crises that we have, now we're going to take that leverage and show every politician who's up for re-election in 2022, we can work together. We can actually solve real Californian problems.
Dude, I don't think people understand what it takes. Like, I hate to be the realpolitik guy, especially as a fucking, socialist Andy here. But, like, these issues are incredibly complex. Like, just saying I'm gonna fucking write an executive order to like solve homelessness in the first 60 days is a delusional thing to say. It's the least serious thing anyone has ever fucking said. Okay? It's so dumb. It's like, okay, well, how are you gonna enforce this? Like, at some point, you have to unironically admit that you are going to use cops to fucking cleanse the streets of the homeless and force them into shelter or jails.
Problems. They're not Democratic problems. They're not Republican problems. They're Californian problems. What's my background? My background is 3,000 hours on the road in law enforcement, real estate investor, financial educator. Think about the problems that we have. I have a political science background as well. The problems we have are crime and homelessness. I dealt with this on the streets with law enforcement, and I deal with building wealth through real estate. I understand how to solve our crises in the state.
Oh, and speaking of real estate, that's your background. Housing. We've got a housing crisis in this state as well. We see the price skyrocketing, which is really great for rich people that are trying to sell their homes, but it's tough for other people that want to get into the housing market. How do we fix housing in this state?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing is we're building 80,000 homes a year right now. Just to stay par, we need to be building 300,000 homes a year in the state of California. We've got plenty of places that can be redeveloped, abandoned malls, strip malls, whatever. My plan is to build 500,000 homes per year. Where? We have 482 cities. It's actually not that much. We're a big state. But we've got to get the government as much as possible out of our lives so we can streamline processes. We have 482 building and safety departments.
Of course, the fucking real estate YouTuber is like, we need to get the government out of our lives, dude. Oh God, I'm gonna throw up, dude. Oh, it's so fucking. Oh yeah. We need to get the government out of our lives, and we need to start building cardboard fucking boxes. Okay, we need to start building more luxury condominiums. Okay, and those luxury condominiums are going to open up new real estate opportunities for all these wealthy people to move out of their homes and magically make those homes more affordable. Of course, this is a neoliberal YIMBY. Okay, and there are a lot of them. There are a lot of them in my replies for the past couple of fucking weeks since I became a homeowner. They keep saying like, oh, dude, you're a real estate investor now, and that's why you're against more housing. I'm not against more housing. I am 1000% for more housing. I cannot stress this enough. I think that deregulation or upzoning is a viable way to do such a thing, as long as there are conditions that you put together to ensure that the new housing that you're building are fucking affordable. Okay? If you want to legitimately do some means testing, you should do means testing there. Okay, upzoning is the process in which you take zoning restrictions that currently exist, like having a necessity to ensure that there's parking spaces, like 2 parking spaces if you're on a lot, or the necessity to have a single family house sit on a 6,000 square feet property, like a lot, is a zoning restriction that hurts new development. Zoning that allows one family houses should be illegal. Yeah, that's like, that only allows for one family housing is ridiculous. Yes, I don't disagree with that. Yeah, dude, guys, I worked in Culver City for the first like 8 fucking years. Okay, or not the 8 years. I've been living in LA for 8 years, 9 years almost, and I worked in Culver City for how many? Like for half of that, for the first half until 2019. Okay. And the amount of fucking condos that have been built, like, is insane, dude. That's what happens when you fucking deregulate housing. This guy's made videos about how to not pay for shit when a tenant needs something fixed, and how to write rental agreements that just ends up costing the tenant more money. Fucking scumbag. Yeah. This guy, as a real estate Andy, a real estate YouTuber, is like literally the problem. It's people like this that's the problem. What? I love how Hassan keeps guessing what this guy is going to say and keeps getting it wrong. Wait, Kevin is a dummy, better than the low bar of Elder, but it's a terrible bar. But assuming his views instead of berating them after hearing them is asinine, says Secret Janitor. Not so much of a secret if you fucking put it in your Twitch username, I think. Dog, nothing I said has been wrong. He identifies the problems and knows the correct way to claim that there are problems, but his solutions are fucking beyond the mark. He is Andrew Yang, but for California. That's literally what he is doing. The reason why only luxury condos are being built is because of zoning regulations that disallow affordable housing. That's literally not. Okay. When deregulation comes, oftentimes the only viable housing that people want to build are luxury condominiums. Okay.
You remind me of the guy in high school who took my girlfriend, then went on to the next girl. You still think you're better than everyone else. You shut down public schools while your kids went to private school. Even now you live by different rules. You closed tiny coffee shops while you ate dinner at the fanciest restaurant. $12,000 for wine. You've lost touch with reality. This is not about political parties.
This is the most effective campaign I've ever seen. I'm not even kidding. All Republicans are cucks, right? We know this already. So bringing up the fact that Gavin Newsom cucks people, and he legitimately has cucked people, he fucks a lot, is perhaps one of the best ways that you can fucking really get Republicans to vote against Gavin Newsom. Because all Republicans are cucks. Like, getting their, like, someone else finally, for the first time ever, sexually pleasing their wives, okay, in a way that they never ever could have done because they don't respect women or see them as like anything but their own property, is a terrifying proposition for every Republican that kind of guides their personal ideology. This is at the heart of what this is like one of the main fears, the same fear for even immigration policy. It's the same fear that drives immigration policy. It's the same fear that drives white supremacy. It's like, oh, what if my white girlfriend wants to fuck like a black dude? You know, that's like literally like actual policies have been written around this genuine fear that some people have, a lot of conservatives have. So I personally think this is like a legitimately good ad that will absolutely galvanize about a bunch of Republicans because they are permanent cucks and they hate someone like fucking Gavin Newsom because he's hot and he's gonna fuck their wives.
Than everyone else. You shut down public schools while your kids went to private school. Even now you live by different rules. You closed tiny coffee shops while you ate dinner at the fanciest restaurant. $12,000 for wine. You've lost touch with reality. This is not about political parties. It is about you, Gavin Newsom.
Recall Newsom. Bring us together.
So going back to this fucking Kevin dipshit, who's not as bad as Larry Elder, but still really fucking horrible. Let's keep going.
Apartments, we need one set of rules, not 482 different rules. And the government, cities, it's actually not that much. We're a big state. But we've got to get the government as much as possible out of our lives so we can streamline processes. We have 482 building and safety departments. We need one set of rules, not 482 different rules. And we need to speed up building and safety.
How do you do that?
Yeah, through executive action. Day one, we need to have a slightly higher standard that incorporates the benefits of green energy and better sustainability. But having one standard that's the same throughout the state. Then we empower our architects and engineers, whom we're licensing anyway, and we work together with the community to solve our problems.
And real quickly to wrap up, I mean, having fun, what's this like for you as a 29-year-old traveling the state, meeting people, seeing the reaction?
Well, look, I'm doing this because I'm passionate about solving our problems in California. It's a lot of work. It's a grind. I love it, though. I love it because I want to give back. In my opinion, I've already succeeded financially. I'm not, unlike other politicians, getting into government to try to make money. I could retire right now. What I want is to give back and to serve.
Well, we all...
Oh, totally, dude. He's on that Sigma grind set, boys. Does anyone have the LA Times article that like covers all of the candidates? Businessmen never want to make more money. Yeah, totally, dude. Businessmen famously hate making more money.
Week, Newsom said he hopes these appearances will energize Democratic voters.
I think it's a big deal to have the Vice President of the United States, who happens to be from the Bay Area, happens to be our own home, our own Californian here supporting this effort.
Asked about these visits, Elder said he doesn't think it will make any difference.
Californians are hurting, and they couldn't care less what Kamala Harris says. They couldn't care less what Joe Biden says.
As for the other candidates in this race, former San Diego Mayor Kevin Faulconer held a virtual press conference today to address crime and keeping Californians safe. San Diego businessman John Cox campaigned in Modesto, and he will also be in San Francisco tomorrow. Dan Anama.
The California recall is heating up with 1 week to go. Voters in the Golden State will decide whether they've had enough of rampant homelessness, crime, and COVID mandates and boot Gavin Newsom from office. Democrats wrapping up attacks on the leading Republican candidate, Larry Elder. A Newsom rally speaker even called Elder, quote, a blackface on white supremacy. The candidates taking aim at each other.
This man has been an absolute disaster. The quality of our schools has declined. Homelessness is up. Cost of living is up. Forest mismanagement, water mismanagement, and people, as I mentioned, are leaving California for the very first time.
Let me tell you a little bit about Mr. Elder. He is to the right of Donald Trump. He would make, honestly, Donald Trump blush.
All right, so this is the segment that you wanted to talk about before. So
always about skin color.
Yeah, Greg.
Making Donald Trump blush.
All right. Well, so
oh god, I hate it when they do this, dude. They're such fucking cucks. They love like ironically, they love virtue signaling. They love being like, "Oh my god, did he bring up color? Who's bringing up color? Why are you bringing up color?" Like these fucking dorks, dude.
Can't stop.
So
Judge,
what do you
ask
think
me a question.
Of that? Can I get the question? What do you think of the fact that they're saying that Larry Elder is a black face of white
There's been 3 examples of this, and it's hilarious to see liberals attack people over skin color in order to protect the most white, privileged politician in modern history. Elder, I'm not his consultant, he should go after Gavin Newsom about being white. Like, what would happen? Because they're going after him about being black. He should have fun and go, you, sir, are extremely white.
Yeah, except he would lose his support in his base. Let's be fucking real. The entire point of, like, Republican politics is unironically advocating for, you know, being the black face of white supremacy and telling white people like, no, I'm with it. I'm with it. I'm with the shits. Okay. So if he were to say something along those lines, like, oh, you have white privilege, like that can go either way. Obviously, if the people know you well enough and they know you're part of the fucking team, then they're going to see that as a good thing, right? They're going to be like, oh yeah, he's just trolling him. He's just trolling him. When Donald Trump does it, he's trolling because Donald Trump is white. When a black dude does it, though, Republicans go, hold up, wait a minute. He's a black man saying things that I've heard from other blacks that happen to be Democrat. You have to have a position of prominence as like a black white supremacist enough that you can say stuff like that, get away with saying stuff like that.
You know, and you are the white face of stupidity. But you know, white supremacists.
I'm gonna meet Kevin's Discord and let him know about the stream. I think he may reach out to you, dude. You guys are so fucking annoying. Like the moment I look at candidates, you're like, dude, have him on. Like he's gonna. You want me to have fucking meet Kevin on, dude? Really? A lot of white Republicans are voting for him. Yeah, no shit.
This now is the new Uncle Tom. If you are black and dare to challenge the party ideology or dare to leave their ideological race-driven plantation, you will now be called a black-faced white supremacist, again, while ignoring the Virginia governor, you know, the Canadian prime minister, a late-night comedian, and God knows who else who actually did blackface and were white.
You know, one of the most significant consequences of this race, and they say right now, Dana, that that Gavin Newsom, it appears, may win, but, you know, Larry Elder's within striking distance, is what he has said about Senator Dianne Feinstein.
Oh, right, because well, Senator Dianne Feinstein has said she's not going anywhere. But apparently all the Democrats are like, ooh, like what? Counting the days. Like maybe she's going to go somewhere. And so they're hoping that the Democrats are saying, oh, well, if Larry Elder or another Republican wins and they're the governor and she dies, then he gets to appoint another Republican and that'll be the end of the Senate. So one, it's offensive to Dianne Feinstein. And so now not only are they talking about racial issues, they're talking about sexism, and it's just awful. But did you notice in the comment when we said that they were going back and forth with each other, Larry Elder was making all policy arguments.
Yeah.
And Gavin Newsom made only personal attacks. And so I think that's one of the reasons that the Californians that are wanting to vote Newsom out are thinking about it. I don't love the recall process. I don't think it's great, but I understand why people are frustrated in California. However, I do think when it was announced, I think it was announced today, that President Biden is going to go and campaign for Gavin Newsom, I believe that they must feel that Gavin Newsom is going to win, and then Biden's team will say, see, he's not a drag on the party, he's fine.
Right. Yeah, you agree with that, Jess?
I do. It was a coin flip until about 3 weeks ago, and then the Democrats really started to panic, and the unions in Hollywood poured about $10 million into this race. Just at the same time, the press started savagely attacking his race, his divorces, and his taxes. Like you said, all personal smears, nothing to do with policy. Now it's really kind of a tough reach for him. But if I was running this campaign, I would make it about management. You can't manage the forests. You can't manage the water. You can't manage energy. Keep it about management, because clearly Democrats cannot manage that state.
Well, in addition to that, there's some kind of $1 trillion fraud going on in the state unemployment division in California. But it's interesting that they're talking about it being an attack on their values if someone like Larry Elder comes in, and on social justice.
Look, a great French philosopher once said that.
Bro, this guy literally looks like the fuck my shit up fam meme. What happened to this homie's hair, dude? I can't take this shit seriously. If this is what your hair looks like, bro, I'm sorry. Like, he literally went to the barber and was like, yo, fuck it up, dude. He went to the naked barber.
Phrase has never been used on the show.
It's nothing like the specter of the death penalty to focus one's mind. And Gavin Newsom has gotten very focused here. To your point, Democrats have realized you lose this seat here, this would be an earthquake, a political earthquake unlike I've seen in 20 years. Gavin Newsom has come under criticism, I think, for the high taxes, the crime, the homelessness population.
And going to the French Laundry.
But that was the catalyst. That's what allowed, I think, the floodgates to come. But Republicans, I think, may have caught themselves, might not have thought this thing could have gotten as serious as it has, because I think if they thought that, they might have ran some more serious candidates. Larry Elder, I don't have any opposition to him because of his race. I'm just not sure he's serious enough and qualified enough to be governor of California. And I think voters out there will make that determination. I would agree with you, Dana. It's unfortunate that the clip we showed Newsom attacking him on personal issues. I think personal issues should not, someone's personal life like that should not be involved in politics. And frankly, Newsom should be challenged on policy, as Elder should be. But unfortunately, politics has gotten to a bad place where we like to just attack people.
Well, and you know what? And it works for some people.
Yeah.
And that's why they do it. And then some people
Arnold pulled it off.
Don't want to.
The latest now on the Texas abortion ban. It includes no exception for rape victims, and Governor Greg Abbott is under fire.
Price the haircut looks like a pop-up neoliberal ski resort in Lancaster. It's almost like their personal beliefs drive their policies. Lamau. You call people Satanist baby eaters? Yeah. They're always going to fucking cry foul at any like minor thing that isn't even a fucking serious problem, while simultaneously fucking doing the worst shit that they could possibly say. Also, happy birthday, Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders turns 80 today. A hero. Obviously, you know, he's done more for the socialist movement in this country than any other person I can think of, any other singular individual I can think of in the contemporary socialist movement. So much so that there's an entire fucking cadre of individuals who have learned about socialism as a consequence of Bernie Sanders making it more mainstream. And now, you know, make all of their Substack bucks from shitting on Bernie Sanders and AOC and others who Bernie Sanders is also motivated by claiming that they are more to the left than a guy who has been advocating for the same fucking causes of social justice and economic equality for basically since socialism was invented. Okay, my man is old. He's been around. He was in the fucking czar. He was in the palace. Okay, this tweet is still a banger. Mandatory Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders should be forced to give away 90% of his birthday cake. Hashtag happy birthday, Bernie. This is how birthday cakes work when you have friends. One of the best Bernie Sanders birthday posts of all time.
I didn't like.
Let's hear what Bernie had to say about becoming a socialist.
I didn't like power plays on the part of, discrimination, and I didn't like that. I didn't like power plays on the part of people who had the power. But that was just kind of instinctual. And, as a kid, I felt strongly about racism and poverty. And when I went to the University of Chicago, I was not a good student, but what I did do is spend an enormous amount of time down in what they call the stacks of the library. It was a very good library, and I would bury myself in there, reading everything that I could read about history and politics and sociology and economics and psychology. I did a whole lot of reading. I was not a good student, let's say that. But I did a whole lot of reading. But what the Young People's Socialist League did to me, it helped me put two and two together in my mind. In other words, we don't like poverty, we don't like racism, we don't like war, we don't like exploitation. What do they all have in common? And people say, well, I'm against poverty, but why, for example, at a time when we are the wealthiest country in the history of the world, why do we have 43 million people living in poverty? Why do we have such an unfair distribution of wealth and income? What does wealth and power mean? How does it influence politics? Money always played a dominant role, a very important role in who gets elected. Now, as a result of Citizens United, it is far worse. Who decided that World War I would take place? Who even knows why we went to war in World War I? What was that about? Who makes these decisions? So what my studies tried to do is put two and two and two together. And that is why, I kind of evolved to an analysis which tries to explain to me what goes on in the world today and then.
One of the things that I noticed
if I get COVID, I'm going to bring it to my family. And I talk to my grandparents a lot. They're higher risk than me, so I don't want to give them COVID. This time last year, my grandmother, who was a former teacher at the Rutherford County School System, died of COVID because someone wasn't wearing a mask. This is a very
Fuck your grandma. It's like you're gonna die too, dumbass. I mean, you're also gonna die. Fuck is your problem?
This is a
It is definitely AstroTurf, by the way. When you see like nice ass fucking signs, like either you got one really wealthy member in the group, but half of this shit is AstroTurf to the wazoo. Look at that, dude. Look at these nice ass fucking signs they put together.
Yes, we're here to act professional. Please, sir, go ahead.
Thank you. This is an avoidable issue, and by not wearing masks in schools, it's irresponsible. We're killing people. This is not something that we should be doing for the education of our students. Thank you. If I get COVID, I'm going to bring it.
I don't know why they AstroTurf this when they know they're mainly killing their own supporters, galvanize the base. Conservatives don't care. Like, they don't care about directly killing their base. They listen to their base more than the Democrats do. So there are legitimately people in the base that like demand this sort of thing, right? They want this. So they recognize that this is a popular thing this is a popular thing to like advocate for. And when it's a popular thing to advocate for, it actually it creates more support in the base. That's why they do it. Last thing I want to show on the California recall here is next governor, potentially Larry Elder, talking about Lila Rose endorsing him.
Hi there. So nice to meet you.
Music, folks. You know that. You know it. I know it. That is some certified penis music right there. Lila Rose is an American anti-abortion activist who's the founder and the president of the anti-abortion organization Live Action, for the record. Of course, Larry Elder, when facing, mainstream media, says stuff like, oh, yeah, I would never. Abortion is not a main topic. Abortion is not a topic I care about. But when he's on the ground talking to the voters directly, when he's talking to Republicans thinking he's in good company, he's like, yeah, fuck yeah, dude. Fuck abortion.
And given how left-wing California is, the probability is nothing's going to change these up for a long time.
Well, I think that, Donald Trump gave us a Supreme Court that's going to overturn Roe v. Wade. But I just want to make sure that, like, when you're in there, you can do whatever you can to stop the baby killing until that happens. Yeah.
So we can stop the baby killing until that happens. Oh, what's your stance on circumcision? Bad. Not good.